Hello guys, today we are going to be talking about Easy Tree Generation version 2. Okay, version 2 has this name because it changed a lot. Okay, first of all, you can see you don't have all those settings, just panels here. And let's go. First, you have general. Okay, this is generic settings. First of all, is prepare for conversion. Make sure that you have this turned like you see here. You have this realize all the instances. Make sure that you have this turned on if you want to convert it into mesh or if you want to scatter that into a scatter system. Otherwise, it will not render. It will hangs on the scatter system. I don't know why. It's because of the calculation somehow. It's crazy for Blender. Uh, Anyways, just make sure that you have this turned on if you want to scatter the tree. Okay, you have your draw mode, which is the same thing as before. You draw your tree. You have your realistic mode, which creates a mesh and kind of blends it, you see. And you have now extra details, which add extra details to your tree, right? Let me show you the difference. It's without extras and here with extras. You can crank up these extra details to make the tree look really bumpy or something like that. Okay. Uh, Now you can scale your entire mesh here at once, and I strongly recommend you do this if you are doing bushes because sometimes it's better to do that in a large scale because the settings are smoother to play around with instead of in a real scale, and then you scale them down. Okay, so now you have optimization. Optimization probably means proxy, which means that you can optimize that on your viewport. Let me say that you have leaves here on this tree, right? So you have the leaves, but if you keep copying this on your scene, it's going to be crazy and insane. You just need to change it to point clouds. Now that's a better visibility on your viewport, but still, if you render this out, it will be rendered like fully, okay? As you can see here, right? What else? You have this option, point clouds. You have also the options mesh, which it turns into a simple mesh, but as the previous one, at the very end in the render, it will render fine. And the wire, it's another option. Okay, so that's very important for optimization. Okay, now you have your animation tool, animation tab, which I'm gonna show you in a bit. General meshes, so now you don't need to drag and drop your collection of your leaves. You don't need to go to assets, find your leaves here. You can change it here and see like how it is right away for the kind of leaves that you have. Okay, you can change them here and see right away. The fruits the same, the flowers the same, the stick flowers and the stick fruit and stick flowers still you drag and drop your collection because this is very specific. I may change it in the future, but for this release that's fine. Okay, you can also replace your leaves material here, and you check replace, and then you put your material that you want to replace here. So you have your materials to the bark, the material stick, and the snow. Okay, trunk gradient is something that I'm still working on. Don't worry about that. Uh, so you see, all you have everything into a panel, so it's better organized. The roots are here, so you have the same option, but now you can you can shape better your roots because you can increase the size of your roots. Let me just remove my leaves so you can see better. Okay, the roots, you can change the roots, move the roots, uh, and you can now turn it open or close. So you have this possibility of shaping better your roots. Okay, so what else? The trunk, you still have the same options. Okay, for base minimum, basic maximum, play around with those. You can see what you can do. Okay, resolution 1, resolution 2. Okay, the height, okay, of a tree. You can have the height of your tree. Okay, you can have the displacement and the displacement settings down here. Your displacing settings, the scale, the details. You know, you can play around with these and see how it goes. Now you have the main branch, the secondary branch, the twigs, and the secondary twigs. That's very important because this play around with how your tree will look like and how your leaves will be scattered. I will show you. You have your main branch. The main branch, let me exclude the secondary branch. So you have in the twig as well. You have no twigs, you have just the main branch. The main branch is the branch that goes out of the trunk, okay? So you have the main branch here, and you can do all kind of things with the main branch scale, right? And you can randomize your scale. You can scale them up, down. You can change the seed of your tree. Now you can change the shape of your tree quickly just by changing the seed, okay? Uh, and you can also randomize your shape here manually, okay, as much as you want. Let me change to something that I like better. Maybe something like this, right? Yeah, something like this, it's okay. So, yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine for me, right? So then you can rotate them up, down, the same thing as before. Play around, rotate from the top, rotate from the base. Okay, you can bend them down, bend them up. Okay, change the bend up, down, the range of the bend, all kind of things, just like before. Okay, you can prune from the top, prune from the base. So this doesn't change. This is the branch from the past. Okay. So now is the secondary branch, the branch that comes out of the main branch. Okay. Let me remove this. Let me randomize this better, this tree, or maybe something like this. But I want to have some random geometry, something like this, right? Randomize a lot. Okay, something like this. All right. So we have the secondary branch, which is those branches here. They still bend up, down, but the bend stops here, so the twigs doesn't bend. I'll show you that. Okay. So you can scale them custom, which means that scale from the base to the top. It's the same thing that you can do here with your main branch. You can scale them custom. So they are gonna be scaled from the top to the bottom, okay? And you can play around here with the settings, okay, and see what fits better for you. The same thing you can do here with the secondary branch, and you can rotate general, which will randomize or align them to the main branch, okay. What else that is important? Start and end. It shows where it starts and the end. This goes for the twigs as well, okay. All the options like the same here, right? The same here, right? Yeah, so now you go to the twig. The main twig, it brings all the twigs from the secondary branch. So the twigs are just one twig, and you can play around with the rotation or alignment then with the main branch, the main secondary branch. Okay, so let's rotate them a bit. Okay, and also you have the same options here. Resolution, you can play around with the resolution of them, okay, making them look like they have more resolution or less depending on what you want, okay. And what else? That's it. Let's go for the secondary tree. Is the tree coming from the main tree? Okay, that's just a few options. Okay, you can increase the resolution here, down there, the noise, okay, to crank them up and down. Randomization, right? From the main tree, all of that, all of that from the thing that they are coming from. In this case, they are coming from the main tree, so they are gonna rotate based on that. Okay, and yeah, that's it. Right? What else? So we have leaves. Leaves now are distributed on the twigs. So you mm, let me show you. So you have your leaves here on the twigs. I will show you the properties of your leaves in a bit, okay? But it's important to understand that it's based on the twig, okay? If you remove your secondary twig, you will have just the first main twig. If you remove the main twig, it's not going to be casted at all. But if you have the twig and you remove your secondary branch, your leaves will be coming from the twigs that will be coming from the main branch, okay? And then you can play around with the amount of twigs, okay? And do whatever you want, the alignment of them as well, okay? You can play around as much as you want. I recommend you to play around with the settings so you get used it and you get familiar with it so you know right away where to go to find your best way of creating your tree depending on the species that you want to create. Okay, so for the leaves, okay, for the leaves, let's go and check it out. So you have the amount of your leaves. The amount, it's kind of resampling the trees. So if you go lower, you actually get higher amount of leaves. Okay, just keep that in mind. And here you can play around where they starts, where it ends. Okay, and the rotation on Z, let's put them all 0 so you guys can see more or less what's going on. Okay, 0. Okay, so if you go to your leaf, your tree from the beginning, from the top, you see that the leaves are pointing out the way where the twigs are pointing out. Okay, so you can then start to move away. You can rotate them on Z in general, up and down, and then you can randomize the ups and downs. Okay, make your leaves starts to get some randomization, and then you can randomize as well on y direction. Okay, so that your leaves got different distribution. Okay, you can randomize extra, which will randomize from all directions, and you can also randomize a bit on x, okay, direction. So it's up to you to create the tree that you like the most, the best visuals for you. Okay, for now, let me do this, have this amount of leaves. I think those are fine. Let me go a little bit, randomize it on Z down, something like this. I like to put the leaves a little bit down because that's how it bends. Okay, and you can also scale custom, so it will scale the leaves according to the end or the beginning. You can scale them, okay, in general. You can randomize the scale, and that's it. That's not that much settings that you can do. You can always change your mesh of your leaves here, okay, and choose something. Oh my goodness, I choose something it doesn't fit for this tree, okay, but you can go on different leaves, okay, and you would have different lookups. Okay, so you have what else? You have fruits, okay, and flowers. Let me show you quickly. The flowers also came from twigs. The flowers have a little gap. I don't want a gap. I want to show you how it is. Okay, so the alignment, full in one, it will bring the alignment completely with the twig you want, but you also can run align in a different direction and randomize the rotation. Okay, explode it When you explode, they will be offset a bit, and sometimes that's what you want. And here you can control where the leaves are coming from, and here you can control the amount of them, okay, and here you can control the gap between them, okay, so you can control the amount of flowers, okay. And of course, if you want to have them just on the tip, you can press here and then you have them just at the tip, okay. Just be aware that whatever you are using the flowers, if you play around with the gap, if the gap is in one, that's fine because you have no gap. But if you play around with the gap, it creates some gaps in noise that it looks good for a tree that is not animated, but maybe in the animation, if you have this option, and that's why it has this point here and shows this may cause inconsistency on your animation, because some trees, when the branch will be animated, some flowers will disappear, okay, gradually, but they will disappear. And if you are seeing the tree from the very close up, and that happens, that will be weird. Just be aware of that, okay. In the future, I'm planning to fix that, but for now, I don't know how to do that, so let's keep it like this, okay. So those are the flowers in general, and you can choose where you can scatter them, okay. I will leave the default on twigs. The fruits are kind of similar, okay, and you have this option here for the fruits just on the tip, the same thing, and you have the options for the gradient from the center. Sometimes you want to gradient from the center, and you want to have it your fruits just from the outside. This option will be available for the flowers as well. But the problem is both can be tricky for the animation, and it can cause some inconsistencies. I will show you what I mean. Okay, it goes from the center of your tree to the the very end. What happened is that, you see, when you play around here, it's gonna be destroying your fruits, okay. If it's just a still, that's fine, because sometimes your fruits get even eaten by birds or something like that. But in animation, it means that some of your fruits, depending on the movement of your tree, will be uh, gradually removed. The mesh will be removed and added again. You know what I mean? I will show you, okay. So just be careful with this. If you don't want this, just turn it 0, and then you will have no problems at all, okay. You can also control the starts and the end of your fruits here, okay. Show you this here, the same thing as you had before, okay. The alignment of the fruit, the same thing. You can also explode them the same way you do with your flowers. Yeah, scale, random scale, okay, all kind of stuff, right? So let's remove fruits. Now let's go for the stick. The stick is I will remove all the branches so to see the stick. The stick is this guy here. If I turn it on the stick, it will shows here, okay. And basically it will shows the trunk distribution, which is distributed by the trunk, okay. So if I distribute it a little bit, it will shows just right here, okay. And you have all kind of options, and you have a specific flower and fruits for the tree, for the sticks. You don't use the sticks that much, but sometimes if you want to create a plant, the sticks are good, okay, for you to create that. And you can have the option here to rotate from the top and for the bottom, okay. So you can have all kind of sticks, and they bend as well, okay. And you can control the range of your bend, okay. and there's a secondary range which will allows you to have more control over the sticks. And you have the flower, okay, same thing, same settings as you have there, explode, the same thing, right? But you have also the fruits. In the fruits, you can have the tip only, and you have the fruits, okay? The fruits are very interesting because you can scale gradually. It comes like this. Let me remove the randomization of the fruits. But you have the scale gradual, which means that it will gradually scale from the tip. Sometimes that's what you want, okay? And you also can explode it and having gaps, but keep in mind that the same thing happen if you have gaps here. You will start to play around with animation and maybe you'll find problems on your animation, okay? On the problems because of the fruits will be disappearing here and there depending on the position, okay? Now let me show you the animation. So that's the stick. Let me remove the fruits from the stick, okay? We don't have sticks anymore. Snow is the same thing. You just press snow and it will be casting snow on your tree. Okay, grass, you have your grass mode, which is this guy here with grass options. You play around here, okay, and see what you can do, okay, the shape of your grass. You can also have your grass with your tree if you want, okay. So let's go back to our tree and see how the animation looks like. That's the very new thing is animation, okay? If you tune it your animation on and press enter, you see what's happening, okay? Your tree is being like pretty much animated, and it took me a while to figure out this, but I think this approach is good. You also have an extra, you can change the intensity of your animation here, right? If you want to have just a little bit, okay. I put 1.5 as default. Keep in mind that less animation you have, less problem you would have with fruits and flowers disappearing if you are using gap option, okay? So if you have your tree animated, okay, you can also have your leaves animated, okay. I will show you this how it is. I'll leave it 0.5 because we can have them play easier, okay. You can visualize your leaves doing this, okay. Doing this, you will have your tree animated fast, but you can see how your leaves will be animated, okay. Of course that your leaves will be randomized because this is just for visualization, but in here your trees are randomized, so you have a nice movement all over the place that it helps to increase the relief. But sometimes just having the animation is enough for what you want. It's not gonna be a problem at all, okay. If we remove the trees just to show you, and we have um, flowers, for example, flowers, the flowers will be moving accordingly, okay. That would not be a problem at all, okay, unless you have these options here, and maybe you have some problems. The same with the fruits. Let me show you the fruits. The fruits are going to be moving as well. What I'm talking about problems is because sometimes depending on the movement of the tree, your fruits or your flower will be disappearing in time. But that's a minimal problem. Okay, another thing that's very important that Blender Foundation didn't take care of that yet is if you go inside your geometry nodes, okay, that you would find this guy here, bake. Okay, this means that if you, I strongly recommend after you have your tree the way you want, that is that you bake your animation, because right now it's rendering at 19 frames per second. Uh, and if I have leaves is even less, it's going to be rendering 8 frames per second, right? But if you bake it, let me show you. If you bake your animation, then you would have a uh, much better optimized animation in your viewport. So you can play around in your viewport um, with better frame rate. I'm gonna show you now here. It's almost finished. Okay, here we go. Now if you play around your animation, you see it's real time. It's 26 frames per second, 25 frames per second. So you have a tree animated. Okay, but keep in mind that if you want to change something, for example, if you go to general and change to realistic, actually it is, you will not see anything because everything is baked, right? So you have to delete your bake and then you will see your changes. If you want to get your tree baked with these changes, you just bake it again and then it will be baked and will be playing in real time again, but with this shape here. Okay, let's cancel. So maybe we can just check here on your viewport on your own. This line here means that it's baked one. So you see, if once it's baked, it's rendering in real time, but after bake it, no, nothing. Okay, so that's it. If you for some reason doesn't see anything here, just make sure that you remove your bake because it's your bake that is turning everything. It's keeping everything as you the place the way you bake it. Okay, that's awesome for optimizing your viewport in on your viewport, and also awesome for Blender to calculate it before render, because once it's baked, it's already there. When Blender brings that, it brings the information for the cache from the bake, so it's not that slow. You will not need to calculate that every single frame. Okay, I put it here in red. Yeah, that's it for this release. I hope you guys like it. I'm pretty sure you can do lots of trees with this and vegetation in general. And let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you find any bug, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find some. Yeah, that's it. I'm here to help you. If you're interested in more tools that I've created, just go in the link below and see you in the next video. Bye bye.